streets of Kerning City lies a dark abomination, a place so despicable, so evil, where all talent goes to die. This is the story of Kerning Tower.
What is going on, fellow Maplers? Welcome back to the second episode of Maple Master. Today, I will be tackling the National Producer Themed Dungeon Achievement, accomplished by completing the Kerning Tower questline. So let's dive right in. We'll start by selecting the quest notifier and scrolling down to the level 145 Kerning Tower Grand Opening questline. Here, our boy Jake hits us up about a new high-rise where Kerning Square used to be, aka Kerning Tower. And as you'll soon learn, the place where all talent goes to die. Foreshadowing this is mention of the absolute Chad, Blake. But no new information on this for now, and Jake suggests you meet him over at the subway before heading to Kerning Tower. Here, Jake tells you about the quite famous, but now down and out Blake, who is in his quote-unquote office in the basement of Kerning Tower. And like a good neighbor, Jake from State Farm is not on duty, and therefore will not be there. However, he's happy to ask you to fill in for him. From here, we just make our way over to Kerning Tower through magic instead of the scripted subway on the portal to our right, and we arrive at Kerning Tower ground floor to see Ruthie B slaying it on stage. But we're unconcerned, as we're in a rush to get to Blake, who it appears to be coming off of a bit of a bender as he ate shit on the floor. And I'll play you my live reaction here. It's Blake. He's seen better days, I imagine. Yeah, that's what that says. So, at a minimum, he's shit-faced, but considering the industry, there's probably some coke. Looking up from Blake, we catch the reason for his stupor on the TV. Transported back in time, we get to see Blake at his former glory, looking like straight sex appeal. Then, we look over at one of the fans, and here we make a sly comment about her being one of Blake's groupies, which sets some of the precedent for my characterization of him later. From here, we talk to Enon, and she tells us she absolutely needs a pass for the signing event, and will exchange a juicy secret about Blake for the help. So we go on the hunt and collect 25 of Blake's new albums from the nearby CD monsters for her. Returning with the albums, we're ready for that juicy secret. But we're told to keep it under wraps, and we find out that he wears size 9 shoes. Groupies indeed. Then we get a quick scene of the adoring fans, Blake's performance, and let's note, Pinky out on the mic because, as I said before, straight sex appeal. But this blast from the past is cut short as we re-enter Blake's room. Here, we get jump scared by Dia Mandy, who was sent yet again in Jake's place to check in on Blake. Guess he didn't think we had it in us, but also didn't want to do it himself. Amidst the introductions, Blake pops up and holy shit, he went from looking like straight sex appeal to sexual predator real quick. We talk to Dia and ask what the hell is going on with Blake, and she tells us about a song that came to him in his dreams and that he shut himself in his office to try to recreate it. I can tell you right now, that man was not cooking up any Beethoven symphonies. The dreams were definitely wet, not musical, and he didn't shut himself up in his office for the reasons you think. But Dia is persistent, and I guess to get this meaningless 20-point achievement, I have to try to help. So I talked to Blake, and no shit, he's got no money. Therefore, no one to sing his song. So logically, I asked him if he's able to sing it himself, and he said, I can't meet my fans like this. And for once, we're on the same page. Since he's off the table, I suggest getting someone else to fill those size 9 shoes. And he makes us casting manager to help find the perfect voice. He then has the audacity to ask for not one, but 4 real contenders for the song, and that he's going to put the last touches on the tune. Before heading out to find Blake's singer, we stop by Dia for some advice. She tells us to find someone with real potential to be a star, then to approach them calmly and naturally. Third, hand them a business card, and that's it. In other words, I hand randos a business card to a dungeon office that no one knows existed in a tower of monsters to meet musical Epstein. Perfect. On Dia's recommendation, we go to the ground floor to find our first victim, singer, and circle back to Ruthie B, still blowing minds with her talent. Picking up on that skill, my characters walk right by and off the screen, really listening to that second piece of advice from Dia. Somehow, we reintegrate ourselves into the crowd and determine her skills are unrefined yet energetic. With a little moral support, she's sure to take notice of us. And how do we give her moral support? By slaying monsters, of course. So, I go clap some monster cheeks for moral support, and in order to help convince Ruthie to allow Blake to do the same. I think she's ready because she notes she's touched, has an adrenaline surge, and is inspired to go even harder and louder with her songs. But her audio cable broke, so we need to go fetch her some parts to fix it. Clapping a few more cheeks, we're back with the cables. Now that we've gotten to know her, we hand over our business card and she's ecstatic someone is interested in auditioning her. Alarm bells start to go off, however, as she notices the office is on B10, wondering if the elevator even goes that low, but overlooks this glaring red flag for the chance to get signed to the label. Finishing up with Ruthie B, we move up a floor to find Savannah Faya or Faya. I don't know. I'm going to go with Faya because Faya is just rude. Laughs in Spanish. And well, super hot Faya, she spits that. She offers us boba, tea, or Kerning cream float. And I can see Blake has been leaving his mark all over this tower. In spite of her just being a drink peddler, we see that star quality that is perfect for Blake's audition. But she's all out of fruit jelly containers and won't dare consider talking to us unless we help her first. This tower is so transactional. We kill the nearby jelly juice and espresso machines and return with the goodies. Clearly, she forgets who we are because when we return, she lets us know that they are all out of jelly juice. How she can't remember a gigantic talking yeti? I'll have no idea. But now we're a yeti that's got the juice, and she's willing to recognize our existence, so we hand her a business card. She notices it's Jackpot Entertainment and begins to shit on it straight away, saying it's old news, and she needs a successful debut. She's also so conceited she says she doesn't need audition, but knowing Blake, he's fine with that. But all's not lost, she gives us a coupon for half off her next bubble tea. Somehow, we think to ourselves that revealing Blake's masterpiece of a song will change her mind. We return to Blake to see if we can get a demo, and are in luck because he's already produced one. Returning to Savannah, she immediately roasts us by saying she's not interested in trying out for a second-rate company. But as she turns to go, we make a last-ditch effort by playing Blake's song, and let me ramble for a bit. This motherfucker had a dream song, has made me run around doing all this work for him, wants me to find 4 victim singers, and I shit you not, the BGM plays a 4-note melody that a child learning piano for the first time would string together by accident. But holy shit, it does the trick, and Savannah is blown away by Blake's musical genius and agrees to audition. I swear, this only confirms the shady business happening down in Blake's dungeon office. With Savannah taken care of, we move up a floor to find a colored pencil shop. Perfect place for star quality talent. Inside, we find the heroine of this questline, Perry Dots, singing what I can only imagine is the chorus of Hey Jude. Our character remarks on how she can focus amidst the noisy colored pencil shop when we see literally no other characters, and since she's the first woman we come across on floor 3, obviously she's perfect for Blake's masterpiece song. We approach her to find she has lost her notes and have to slay some nearby monsters for her. She cautions us not to read the notes as they are private, so on top of the other egregious violations throughout this questline, we invade her privacy to read them. On accident. to find that they are emotional, soul-bearing lyrics with notes on choreography and costumes, which is actually somewhat sweet if we weren't supposed to be looking at them in the first place. We hand the notes back, but of course let slip that we read them on accident. She goes from embarrassed to psychotic, identifying that we must have been the only ones who've read them, and therefore she will destroy us. She works herself up into a frenzy, and the only way to calm her down is to... oh god, beat her. Once calmed down, we hand her a business card, and in bold she notes she's going to murder the audition. And this is exactly why she is the heroine of our story. We are literally sending down a serial killer to Blake's dungeon. He's in for quite a shock on this one. This would probably be the perfect place to end the questline, but we have to follow through on our adventure and find the 4th star for Blake to choose from. We go to Kerning City Sky Garden to find Amy Thickthighs. It's just Amy Thighs. Based solely off her singing, we know she's the last star we need. Our character even knows how sketchy Blake is, being tentative about, noting our unique agency that she should audition for. She books it away from us as fast as she can, but being persistent as we are, we follow her and find she's lost her recorder. So we beat up some nearby headphone monsters and listen to the recorder until we find hers. From the recorder, we learn that she's a fan of Blake's, which blows my mind. Now that we've helped her out, we hand over a business card and head back to Blake to help him choose his star. So we seemingly get the option to select the star for Blake's song. I obviously choose our heroine, Perry Dots, in the hope she might eliminate Blake and save everyone. But it was only the illusion of choice. Blake's a sadistic man who notes that all these women have the magic, as they call it in the biz, and suggests making a group out of all 4 of them. It only gets worse from here. Dia seems to have run off, and before we can do anything, we need to find her. Going over to the rehearsal room on the right, we can see what looks like a run-down casting couch where all these poor women have been rehearsing. Dia is clearly in too deep with Blake as she sticks with him even after her botched debut. She emphasizes that she won't choke this time if she's allowed to join the team. Amidst the gloom of the rehearsal room, Dia shines like a star and seems perfect as the 5th member, noting that this time is going to be different. She's going to grab a hold with both hands to not give up on her dream. As you would expect, Blake would never say no to this temptation and allows her into the newly formed band. We are interrupted by Blake telling us that we are so last minute a group has already been signed up to the Kerning Superstars broadcast, and the only way to win is for our group to last minute vote ourselves in during the broadcast. So I mashed in those last minute votes to boost our hodgepodge group of random Kerning Tower girls to the top, snagging victory and the chance to perform live. To get ready for the live performance, Blake tells us that since Dia is a singer, somehow she can no longer be a secretary. Yeah, I wonder what she's doing to skirt those duties. And asks us to become a secretary in her stead. As the secretary, we need a stylist and makeup artist so that the girls look their best. We go up to floor 5 to find Ricardo Ricotta, or as I like to call him, Cheese Man, who agrees to do our group's makeup if I first gather some super expensive makeup from the nearby monsters. On top of this, we go to the next floor to find Patricia Paneer, or Cheese Woman. No idea why Nexon put cheese puns in here, but I'm all for it. Similarly, wants high-end perm agent in addition to the publicity of the event in exchange for her work. After turning in both sets of items, we're all set for the Kerning Superstars debut. Fast forward to the day before the event, and something's wrong. Blake is a little nervous for his team, and it turns out his worries were not unfounded. Right before the event, he says the team is depressed and can't go on stage. He heard them grumbling about a weird guitar they found in the rehearsal room. We investigate and find a strange aura coming from the guitar. And let me tell you that having been in the rehearsal room, that guitar has seen some shit. And I don't blame it. Come to find, it's possessed. Who would have thought? Better have the FBI combing through the rehearsal room for Blake's victims. So we clear out the evil spirit, and our group is ready for the spotlight. Taking to the stage, our ragtag group gets up to rock out to Blake's jam. Let's remember, we got here by pumping up the votes ourselves at the last minute. Unsurprisingly, the only one who speaks up about how great a performance it is Blake. As the screen fades to black, we learn the horrible outcome of what we've helped to create. The single, against all odds, topped the record charts and created a space for Blake to become the permanent producer and songwriter for the group. The group would continue to touch hearts and minds with this horrendous music, defining a new chapter in the history of the music industry. I imagine tourism to Kerning has dropped drastically ever since. We fast forward to Blake back on top, regaining his former glory. Although he looks like his former self, we now know the kinds of things he's done with his power along the way. He's clawed his way to the top until the real story comes to light. Blake has gotten off scot-free. Rewarded for our efforts, we unlocked our achievement, and I feel dirty. I can't thank you all enough if you stayed until the end. I hope you liked my rendition of the Kerning Tower storyline. It was a fun and goofy project to make. Please comment down below with your favorite part. Let me know if there's any other achievements you want me to do next. And please absolutely slam that like button if you'd like to see Blake thrown in the slammer.